Hello. So today we're doing 11.5, which is adding mixed numbers. So this works a lot like adding just with the regular fractions, except there's one more step there. So I'm just going to start by doing some examples because that will make it a little bit easier. So we have 2 and 5/6. And then you'll see too why I like to do it beside each other, plus 3 and 1/4. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is I'm going to come down here and find my least common multiple, which, and once you do this, you'll start going, oh, you know what, I already know it's going to be 12. So we have 12 as our denominator here. Okay, so we're going to have 12. And then again, remember, whatever you do on the bottom, you must do on the top. Okay? Whatever you do on the bottom, you must do on the top. Okay? So here, now we have our whole numbers, which are over here. And then we're also going to have our fraction here. Now, just to kind of color code it, okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my whole numbers so I don't forget about those. Okay, now I'm going to come over here and I have 13 over 12. Now, this is an improper fraction, so we actually have to make it into a mixed number. So 12 goes into 13 once with 1 left over, okay? If you want to also do it over here, you know, you'd have your 13 in the house. Okay, so 12 goes into 13 once. 1 times 12 is 12, and then you'd have your remainder. So remember, this is your whole number. So this would be this number here. And then when you have your remainder, that would be this number here, and then the denominator stays the same. So now what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take this number here and add it to this one to get our total. Okay, so it'd be 5 plus 1 and 1/12. Okay, so 5 plus 1 would be 6, and then you have your 1/12 there. So that would be your answer for that one. Okay? You can also, if this is easier, you can also line it up one on top of the other. And all you're doing is adding it together. Okay? All right, let's try another one. Okay? Let's do 10 and 1/3 plus 7/9. Okay? So since you don't have anything here, you don't need to, you could even do like a 0 here because there's actually no whole number. Over here, we'd find our common denominator. Okay, so we have 3, 9. Okay, so we know it's going to be 9. 9 times 1 is 9. Whatever you do on the bottom, you must do on the top. Okay, 3 times 3 is 9. Whatever you do on the bottom, you must do on the top. Okay, So we'd have 10 over 9, okay? And then remember, if you want to work it out this way, some of you at this point might be able to just do it in your head and go, okay, I know 9 goes into 10 once, and then there's 1 left over. But if you're not ready for that yet, that's totally fine. Okay, so we have 1 as our whole number. 1 times 9 is 9. Okay, remainder 1. The 9 stays the same because it's your denominator. And then here we would do 10 plus 0 is 10. Then you are going to add your number here. Okay. So your answer would be 11 and 1/9. Okay. So pretty much the same thing. The only thing that you're really adding in as a step is like the other day when you were adding these, you would have just this as your number. Well, now we also have these whole numbers here too. So you just have to make sure that you add that in. Now notice I'm being very detailed in my steps too. So that's one thing that I'm seeing on your homework that I really wish you would do, and that's why I don't give you a lot of homework, is if you get a wrong answer or you're not understanding something, it's really hard for me to help if you don't show your work so that I can help you figure out where your mistake is. So that is very helpful when you show all of your work because it helps kind of guide me. Okay, so let's do a couple more. We have 1 3/8 plus 6 3/4. Okay. Now at this point too, you do not have to necessarily do all of this to find your least common multiple. Okay. If you can look at these two numbers and go, oh, I know it's going to be 8, then totally go for it. So whatever you do on the bottom, you must do on the top. Okay, whatever you do on the bottom, you must do on the top. All right. And I always do, honestly, like in the book, a lot of them do it side by side. I always do it one on top of the other because then 1, it looks like an addition problem, and 2, then you're not as inclined to forget this section right here. Okay. So we have, 9 over 8. Okay. 8 goes into 9 once, 1 left over. Okay. 1 plus 6 is 7, plus our 1 1/8. And our answer would be 8 1/8. All right. One thing I want to point out too is you do not have to do your the least common multiple, because as you remember from the last chapter, you can also multiply the denominators and then it has one that works. However, if we were to do that, the only thing that stinks is now you're working with a lot bigger numbers. So you know how it's a lot easier to do, oh, it's 1 1/8. Well, here you would just have a lot bigger numbers to deal with. Okay, and then you'd have to reduce the problem, and it just makes it a lot more difficult. So here, yes, you could do this, and you could go, oh, I have 36 over 32, but now you have to do, okay, 32 goes into 36 one time. I have 4 left over. Then I have my 1 4 over 32, and then now I have to reduce this even more. So again, you can do that, but then it's also, you just have to remember, okay, now I have to not only add this together and get 7, but I also have to remember to do this one plus the 1/8 here. Okay? So for me personally, the reason why I always do the least common multiple is because I personally just find it a lot easier to work with smaller numbers. And then I'm going to do one more, and then I'll let you guys get started on your homework. And you don't ever have to watch all of my examples. I just like to give extra just in case, because sometimes that's helpful. All right, and then I just was doing some on my own, so I'm going to do, I'll do number 19 on page 258. So we have 2 3/4 plus 7 3/5. Okay? So if we find our least common multiple, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12, 4 times 4 is 16, 4 times 5 is 20, okay? 5 times 2 is 10, 5 times 3 is 15, 5 times 4 is 20. So we actually already found, so we have 20. Okay, so we have 20 here, 20 here. Whatever you do on the bottom, you must do on the top. Whatever you do on the bottom, you must do on the top. Okay, so 2 plus 7, well, yep, 2 plus 7 is 9. Also going to come over here, and I have 27 over 20. Okay, 20 goes into 27 one time, and then you have 7 as your remainder. Okay, so add 9 and 1, 7 over 20, and your answer is 10 and 7/20. All right, so if you have any questions, just feel free. That's your lesson for the day. And then don't forget to check your homework from yesterday and let me know if you need any help. All right, bye. Have a great day.